You've probably noticed menus at some of St. John's best restaurants that tout locally grown produce. Well, here's where it comes from. Coral Bay Garden Center is actually two thriving businesses, a busy landscape center and a year-round organic farm. Hugo Roller bought the land back in the 1980s with plans to farm it, and he says it was part personal philosophy and part economics that led him to grow organic greens.
Well, we had a unique situation here. I mean, we're out in the middle of nowheres, a dirt road, potholes, not conducive to vehicular traffic, and certainly off the beaten path as far as the number of miles from Cruz Bay. So if business wasn't going to come to us, then we'd have to go to business. And as we found, the newer chefs being hired at the restaurants were all graduates of the culinary institutes, and their philosophy was buy local and buy organic when possible, and that's the direction we took.
Hugo traveled to Asia to study new farming techniques and crops, but what he came back with was a business and life partner, his wife, Josephine, who was working on a farm and as an English tutor in Malaysia when they met. And she still remembers what she thought of Hugo.
He's Rambo.
That was my nickname over there in Malaysia, was Rambo's.
I married Rambo, they said.
Everybody over there gets a nickname.
What are we growing here?
Different lettuce. Those are the hot mustards over there.
At our farm, it's a philosophy in which we try to mimic nature, basically. Every aspect of the operation has to somehow come full circle around to where whatever you begin with, you end up with.
And this lettuce here, this is called Mizuna.
What do you call this one?
Mizuna.
Mizuna. I see this in the bags that you buy at the grocery store.
Yes.
It doesn't look anything like this. They're smaller.
Yeah, they're smaller.
When I go to the grocery store and I buy a bag of mixed greens, what am I getting? How long has that been someplace before it gets to my table?
Well, that's a good question. The way that they're now going to extremes in re-engineering food crops so that they have longer shelf life, I mean, it becomes a big question mark. How long has that been harvested, since it's been harvested and before it gets to your plate? And the quality and the flavor are both diminishing as time progresses. It's just inevitable that, you know, as the longer you keep something in storage, it just depreciates as far as the quality of it.
Yeah, it depreciates the value of the product,
yeah,
the taste,
nutrient-wise as well as flavor.
the xanthone. They said it's anti-cancer. That also diminishes. Everything diminishes.
And the way to control these new technologies is by the consumer first becoming aware of what the issues are and then making a choice in the marketplace. And the more you choose something that's better for your health, ultimately you're going to steer technology in a different direction. Fortunately, the organic sector is the largest growing sector in the food industry. People are becoming more and more aware that health is an issue. You can either save money on food and pay the doctor, or just pay a little bit more so that small growers can give you a better quality product, and then avoid the doctor.
They call it it tastes like wasabi.
Oh boy, is it spicy?
Yeah, try it. It clears your sinuses.
Whoa!
Here we have a vestige of an earlier agriculture on these islands, which is
sugar?
Sugarcane.
Yeah.
Our kids would, when they were younger, would let this stuff grow up until it's a little bit more stalky and then chop it down with a machete. And they preferred chewing on that sugarcane more than even having a candy.
Josephine says running a farm on St. John is a lot like building a house on St. John. at least when it comes to one thing.
When you have money, it works well. When you run out of money, it doesn't work anymore. As everybody says, everybody that is building a house, they run out of money. They thought at first they have so much money, but you run out of money all the time in St. John when you do something.
It's the same with growing vegetables?
It's same growing with vegetables. So you have to do many things. Right now, what really earns more money is my landscaping.
Landscaping helps keep the cash flow coming in low season when demand for farm goods slows. And Josephine loves the landscaping at least as much as the farming.
Because it's an art. And it's my design.
Right.
You know, of course, it's the owner's money, but I really love it. All the flowers, all the different foliage, the colors, and the bees and the birds coming to that garden is just so beautiful. And tourists love it.
You don't have to go to a fancy restaurant to enjoy what Hugo and Josephine are growing. Take a trip to Coral Bay Garden Center and load up on a bag or 3. And say hi to Josephine and Hugo while you're there.
You take out the blooms and spread it on your curry, and it's so delicious. Smells so good.
Coral Bay Garden Center and Farm. A nice place to visit, a great place to pick up something for dinner.
This is very peppery.
Arugula is Italian. That's why the Italians live longer.